Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Horror Trans. I am Stephanie Bree. I am a transgender woman, and I talk about all things horror. And today we're talking about the Evil Dead remake from, I believe, 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere in that ballpark. It was after the beginning of the Platinum Dunes remake renaissance, we'll call it. So, the Evil Dead, I've already talked about the original Sam Raimi classic. It's a good fucking movie. Go watch it again and again. This one is different, but it's not that different. So it's basically the same thing. Group of friends go out into the woods, into a cabin. They summon the deadites, the demons, and they like turn into deadites, monsters, and they like mutilate themselves and each other and kill each other off until there's one lone survivor. It's the same fucking movie. It's literally the same plot. There's two twists. One of them, look, I have sisters, okay? And obviously, I'm transgender, so I was raised on the male side of things, although I identify as female. I was never that creepy with my sisters. This movie borderlines incest. It makes me uncomfortable watching him give gifts to his sister and hug on her and kiss her and tell her how much he loves her and blah 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 blah. It's like, she's your sister. Sure, you want to comfort her. She's going through a hard time right now. But like, dude, dial it fucking back. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. The second thing I want to talk about is the gore. So this movie does not have the humor of the first movie, of the first trilogy, we'll say. They play it straight in this movie. So this is a serious take on it. The subplot is basically the girl is a drug addict, and their reason they're out in the cabin for the weekend or whatever is it's like a detox kind of thing. They're trying to get her off drugs. So they do dismiss a lot of what's happening as her psychosis or whatever for being off the drugs, which is kind of bullshit, but whatever. I'll say this movie does have a repeat of the tree raping a girl scene. It's not done as I'll say this. It's done I mean, you can't really call a rape scene tasteful, but it's done more tastefully than the original. It's not as like gratuitous, but it's obvious it's only in the movie because it was in the original and this is a remake, kind of sort of. But it's also kind of sort of a sequel, so it's one of those requels or whatever. So like, you could take this as a continuation of the story or a retelling of the story. You can take it either way. It works both ways. It does. It works both ways. I fucking love this movie. This is my favorite of all the Evil Dead movies. This is it. This is the shit. This is Evil Dead done right. I've seen this movie a dozen times, and I only watched it the first time in April. I've seen it a dozen times since April. I just watched it a week ago. I'm gonna watch it again. This is my favorite fucking Evil Dead movie. This is probably one of my... I've already done my top 25 favorite horror movies of all time, but if I redo that list again, this movie's gonna make the list. This movie is definitely one of my favorite fucking movies. I can't get enough of this movie. I've seen it so many times and I have to watch it again. This is an absolute buy. You want this in your collection. You want it. This one fits in with the rest of your Evil Dead movies. So, yeah, you want this one. This is if you're only going to get one Evil Dead movie, this is the one to get.